because I have a right, you have a right, we all have a right to feel beautiful, because if God didn't say this was enough, then he wouldn't have said all that he made was very good and stopped there.
True.
He stopped there. And so I thought it was so important to write your natural vision of where you want to be mentally and physically with the pictures, and then to crown yourself. Once your goal is met, whatever your goal is, reward yourself with those nice hair accessories or a hairdo, or get pampered, or just embrace who you are. So, yeah, I can go on, but
I love it. I love it. And you know, one of the things that really struck me in the book was something that you said about our hair defying gravity. And when I saw that, I was like, that says it all. I mean, what else do you know on Earth that can defy gravity? I mean, and you said it earlier about our hair going up and out. You know, but when you get some length, of course, it starts to grow down. But even then, you know, it grows out and it grows up. I mean, that's so beautiful and so powerful. So when I saw that, I mean, that's like the perfect comeback to any negative thing that somebody tries to say to you about your hair. You know, you can say, well, my hair defies gravity. What does yours do?
yeah, that's what's up.
Exactly. I love it. All right, Michele. So let's go on to chapter 4. Now, chapter 4, you talk about CSD, SRCD. All right. Now, I know y'all know what that means because you read the book, right? But, Michele, for those who may be watching that may not have a chance to read the book, explain to us what that process is.
Oh, Lord, that's one of those things I wish I could go back and reread it now. That's all about conditioning first. That's the first C. I'm not going to try to find it right now.
Okay.
First C, and then the S for shampoo, and then you're sectioning the hair. You're basically conditioning each section. You section the hair in 4 quadrants, which it took me a while to learn because all my hair was matting up in the middle of my head, and I was ripping it out, and that's the roughest area of my head anyway. So just separating the hair in quadrants, conditioning first, combing through, washing the section, conditioning again, rinsing through. So all that CS stuff stands for that kind of thing, but I guess there could have been a simpler way to put that. But the basics are, it's so important to section the hair when you wash it, and even better yet, which is something I wish I did when I was a loose natural, put your hair in a couple, somebody with your length hair, maybe 10 to 20 plaits, and then section the hair and wash it, and just wash the scalp and squeeze the soap through the hair, because it just helps so much with the detangling, and that's something I really didn't get into until I had locks, and I wish I did that, because I did a lot of the growing, and then I'd lose my growth after protective hairstyles, you know, for weeks and weeks, and that was very frustrating. So really the essence of that chapter is how to wash our hair right.
Perfect. And I love that you say condition first. A lot of people don't know to do that. Even I myself, I mean, I didn't know to do that. Even though I've heard of pre-pooing and everything, I've never actually done it. So now that I've read your book, I will be doing that. So,
yay!
Yes. All right, Michele. So, I can't believe it's the end of today's web chat, but I want to ask you, what final words or tips would you like to leave with our audience tonight?
Oh, I wish I thought about this ahead of time, but if there's anything I wish that I could leave with people, especially those that are coming behind me, is to be strong, believe in yourself, know that you're beautiful, know that God made you very special and very uniquely, and God doesn't make mistakes. I go to Genesis, but I know it's in the first chapter, and he says all that he made was good and very good. And when we get into the way he made our hair with medulla, the only hair texture with a medulla in it, and they don't know what it means, because once again, you know, black people, what are we to the world to do the research to put the money into? from sickle cell to hair, what does it matter to the world? But to us and to God, I believe it means a lot because it has everything to do with people from warm climates,
right,
and, keeping our bodies and our heads cool to the beautiful melanin in our skin. I mean, there's a reason and there's a purpose, and to destroy ourselves for liquid Drano, I mean, to me, it's just ridiculous that we would have to alter ourselves to be beautiful. We're beautiful the way that we're born, however that may be.
Michele, you just brought up something that I want to chat about a little bit. I'm going to start doing some research into what you just talked about. You know, the whole scientific yet spiritual background behind why our hair is the way that it is. I was talking to a guy, oh man, this had to be 5 years ago, way before I went natural. And he told me, he asked me, you know, why do you get relaxers? And, you know, I don't even remember what I said, but he said, you know, our hair is different than anybody else's hair. He said, our hair is connected to the sun. And he said that our hair somehow absorbs energy from the sun. And I was thinking, like, that's pretty cool. I was like, that's really powerful. And then, you know, we talked about earlier about how our hair grows up and out. You know, it's almost like it stretches toward the sun, you know, when you think about it. So why is that? And then you mentioned the medulla. Now, what exactly is the medulla?
Well, you know my background is science, so the reason why I went into science is because of my whole fascination with understanding why God made my body this way. So I'm all into the science and breaking down the science in an applicable way that we can understand it and apply it and start becoming conscious. Because what you just said is so true. When he asked you 5 years ago and you didn't know what you said, there's so many things I don't know why I did it or what I said while I had a relaxer in my head. I seriously felt like that poem, Maya Angelou's poem about the ceiling on the brain, and it's lifted when you stop relaxing your hair. It's like you become conscious, and with that consciousness, the consciousness continued to grow with me. And what you learn, if you ever should lock or just do the research on the journey, is there's a whole concept, a metaphysical concept of our hair being antennas. And antennas that, yes, absorb energy, and as the coils release, it releases energy just like the tornadoes have the spiral formation. DNA has the spiral formation. Everything with power in nature has that spiral formation.
That's
right. It releases that potential energy to kinetic energy. So you get down into the science of it. The hair, as you know, has 3 parts. It has the cuticle, the outside covering, which our hair has hardly any of it. It's like wearing a silk shirt in 0-degree weather in Cleveland in the wintertime. And people with Caucasian type hair have a thick wool coat on. That's how thick their cuticle is. Then we have the cortex, the inner. Well, that's all that the wavy texture hair and that the straight texture hair has, the cortex and the cuticle. Our hair has the medulla. When I say ours, anybody from warm climates around the world, around the equators, all those people have medulla. And from what I've read, because I've been one of the cosmetology school dropouts for like past 3 years, I got their books. I read all this stuff, and then I keep withdrawing from the program. Sure, anybody's head, but in there they say they're not sure what it does, but they believe it has to do with temperature control. So to me, that ding, 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 yes. Just like black women aren't worth economically to the United States to do the research as to what chemicals do to our head. There we go again. There's another reason we're made. So I really get frustrated when I see even naturals talk about our hair is no different than white people's hair. It is very different.
Oh, yeah.
The medulla is different. The cuticle's different. And as you know, the follicle shape and what the follicles do is different with kinky curly hair, or else it wouldn't look different. So,
ooh, Michele.
You might want to focus on.
You're gonna have this conversation going for another hour because you're bringing up some awesome stuff. And I mean, when you talk about, you know, the differences and the uniqueness of black hair, and when you really think about it, when you think about this may be controversial for some people, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. When you think about the differences between obviously black hair and white hair, and you know that black people come from the warmer climates, why is it that the cuticle of the Caucasian hair is heavier. And that's because some people say that they came from a colder climate. So that's